Hello everyone, my name is Meghan LeVota and I offer wisdom, tools, and support for personality integration. And today I'm going to be continuing on my series in which I give a love letter to each of the personality types. If you're new to my channel, I'm an ENFJ, and today I'm going to be talking about the INTJ personality type. So if you're new to type, INTJs are introverted, which means that they value their subjective inner world. They are intuitive. They value abstract concepts over the physical facts. They are thinkers. They prefer to make decisions with logical reasoning rather than their ethical value statements. And they're judgers, which means that for the INTJ, they're going to prefer to organize all available data and be very mentally prepared before making a decision. Even though INTJs tend to have a pretty, I guess, flexible attitude, they aren't quite what I would call adaptable. Not nearly as adaptable as an INTP, in the sense that INTJs, they tend to really know what they want. They know how they see things, and they've spent years figuring out like why they see the world the way that they see the world. So I guess from my perspective as an ENFJ, whenever I'm talking about the things that I love about INTJs, is, to be honest, there's two types of INTJs in my eyes. There are the ones that absolutely hate FE, which is my dominant function, extroverted feeling. The ones that absolutely hate FE and everything it stands for. They don't really understand people at all, and they don't realize how their lack of values are actually impacting everyone around them all the time. And by those sort of INTJs, I honestly feel very dismissed by them. And then there are the INTJs who have a strong moral code in their tertiary introverted feeling that is perhaps not something they think about a lot, but is something that's definitely there. That honestly, if you meet an INTJ like this that has that introverted feeling popping up, they, chances are, could be one of the most high integrity, or I guess they could have the most high of an integrity out of anyone that you could possibly meet. If you meet an INTJ like this, and I've known several, and these INTJs, and I know I'm speaking from sort of a biased feeling perspective because I'm dividing you based on, I guess, that, but I guess the reality is that because of who I am and how I view INTJs, it's going to very much matter to me, like, are your emotional motives good, or are they kind of selfish and evil? And I'm not saying that INTJs are that way, but the reality is that all INTJs have introverted feeling, which is their subjective values that they are convicted in. And that sense of conviction could be such a beautiful thing, and I freaking love it. Like, when an INTJ is super passionate about what they're doing and they know how to just put their head down and stay in their own lane and, you know, lead by example. They don't need to tell anyone what to do. They are not concerned with what people think. They just, you know, do what they want to do, and you know what? They live their life the way they want to live it, and it's the most inspiring, beautiful thing, because INTJs have so much, I guess, potential to have this high integrity and create so much positive change in the world. And I guess the reality is that the emotions are so potent in INTJs, at least from my perspective, so it really does depend on how that is, I guess. But what I really admire and absolutely love about INTJs is this way that they can put their blinders on. And I understand that that also can make them seem closed-minded, or, you know, too much tunnel vision is definitely a problem for INTJs. But what I really love is that they are able to put on the tunnel vision and their blinders. And why do I love that? It's because they know how to filter out the bullshit. They really don't waste their time thinking about something unless it's a real problem. At least that's how it seems to me. You INTJs, let me know if you agree. But they don't really focus on things that don't matter. And they're able to be very innovative in this way whatever they really, I don't know, they really just have this intense bullshit detector that is not just through what other people are saying and what they think, but also in how they live their lives. If an INTJ believes that exercise is important, they're going to want to walk the walk. If they believe that anything that they have discovered that they believe is important, they're probably going to want to live by that, because they seem to have this intense feeling of really of wanting to have integrity. And that kind of comes from both NI and FI, is that they want their lives to live in integrity with their vision and with what matters to them. And they will stop at nothing to, you know, make that be so, even if that means that they don't talk to anyone. They will cut you out if they don't think that the way you live your life meshes well with theirs. They don't spend time worrying about the emotional effect that that could have on them. And what's interesting is, even though INTJs aren't feelers, you might not be making these decisions emotionally. I've found that because INTJs are able to say no to things that don't mesh well with them, it leaves them many times to, you know, not have to deal with that much drama in their life, because they've crafted a life in a TE way that supports what matters to them. They have this ability to see what is important about the greater picture. And, you know, for those, especially the INTJs that have developed this tertiary FI, it is, I guess, comparing to NFJs, both of us as NJs really care about getting to the root of a certain idea and making sure that it comes across well, whereas NFJs might be kind of threatened and get defensive if other people don't get on board with that idea, because it sort of threatens the FE reality for us, because we might feel like if you don't get on board with the idea, then we're gonna just feel even more alone, and we're gonna live in this society full of, I guess, people that are closed-minded and unwilling to see. Whereas for INTJs, they tend to, at their best, really value their time and really value and understand the cost of everything. Like, that everything has a trade-off. Like, I could be hanging out with this person, or I could be working on a book, or I could be working on this startup idea, or I could be, you know, reading a book. And for an INTJ, they understand all these trade-offs, and it really leads to good decision making, to be honest, is that you are going to end up probably living the life that you want to live because you have the tools to do so. And I guess like if somebody else doesn't get on board with your vision, INTJs are kind of used to that, and they, as opposed to trying to convince you to get on board with their vision like an NFJ might, INTJs will just start building the vision with TE. They'll start figuring out which blocks they need to mesh together in order to, you know, they'll like tinker with the problem until they find these solutions, and they are able to make things work. They have their vision and then they figure out how to make it work with their TE. And I think that NFJs can learn from the INTJs in this sense that we can just kind of, like INTJs seem to realize that people don't really owe them anything, and that if they really believe in their vision, then they have to prove it. And they oftentimes will prove it. They will put in the work. They tend to be very diligent, hard workers. They put in the work and they prove it. They try and make their vision a reality. And they can be very hard on themselves in doing this. And I guess I think that for those INTJs that I do really think that their heart is in the right place, it is almost phenomenal how much love these guys have in their hearts that you would never even really see, because they don't like to brag. They don't really like to ask for help. They don't really like to be a burden. And so for so many of them, on the surface you see their solutions that they're proposing, but there's so much heart behind that that is so, I guess, it feels just so real. And I think that that's because for them, with NI as their dominant function, they really want to get to the root behind all things, and they really cut out the fat, I guess you could say. They might be minimalistic sort of people, but they really, I guess, they don't like to waste their time, because they don't tend to have that much energy, really. I mean, with SE as their lowest function, INTJs don't tend to have a lot of time to waste. And they tend to know that they're here, you know, on Earth for a reason, or the things that matter that they want to get out of life, and then they craft a plan in order to get that out of their life, or to get that out of life. And the very moment that an INTJ realizes that something's a waste of time, or that a person's a waste of time, they just dip out. And I guess for me, the thing that I admire about that is I'm just like, well, that must be nice to really be able to keep your head down and focus on what matters to you and what works for you. Because for me, I feel so entangled in society, where I feel like if any type was able to succeed, like living off the grid, an INTJ might be a good contender for that. And I could envy that at times, because it's like, well, wouldn't that be nice if I was able to feel as though I am working on something purposeful without feeling like so interconnected with people. And INTJs do have that ability to unplug, which to me sounds very peaceful. However, if an INTJ does unplug too much, then that is where they can morally get questionable, I guess. If you aren't the sort of INTJ that is processing those emotions. And because the thing is that INTJs tend to feel very misunderstood and very different and very alien from the rest of the world. And so if they do feel alien and different, and they haven't healed their FI, then an INTJ is going to perhaps want to get revenge on the world, or perhaps want to show the haters a thing or two about why they're the best. And that's where that sort of like tertiary FI can come in, and at their worst, INTJs can be a little bit selfish and not really focused on their impact on others. However, that's where I want to validate to you, INTJ, no matter where you're at. No matter where you're at in life, the emotions that you're feeling are completely valid, even if you might feel a little detached from society. It is totally normal that you feel detached from society and that there is pain there about feeling different because you are different. You have a lot of potential. You see things differently, and I'm not saying that to make you feel like special, but like it is a reality that you guys are different, and it's up to you what choices you want to make with that. And I believe that you guys deserve so much love and so much understanding from the people around you. And what breaks my heart is that oftentimes INTJs don't ask for that, because what they really struggle with is explaining what their emotional needs are and asking for those emotional needs and putting themselves in situations in which those emotional needs might be met. Where on the one hand, I admire how you're able to detach from those emotions and just do you. Very fiercely independent people. On the other hand, it makes me sad because it makes me want to give you a hug, to be honest, because it's like, well, like, especially those of you who really do try and walk the walk and you don't brag about it and you don't seek any sort of clout or attention. A lot of the times you guys deserve recognition, you deserve attention, and you deserve acknowledgement for who you are and for what you can do. A lot of INTJs, if you are running a business or if you are a startup person, you have such a strong mission and value statement behind what you do. But oftentimes no one knows what it is but you, and you're doing all this extra work, and then you don't know how to communicate it, and then because you think so differently, people don't trust you, and that can be very heartbreaking. I've known an INTJ to like go so much out of their way to try and make their business model fit people so that it was easier for them and that people could save money, and would not even like know how to explain that. Like, I'm trying not to get too personal with the details here, but there's this idea that TE could put in so much effort in order to make something work even better for people, and there's so much love that goes into that. But INTJs aren't doing that for attention or a pat on the back. Like, they do it, if they choose to do it, they're doing it because they think that it's the right thing. So anyway, I guess with this video I just want to say that INTJs, I see the effort that you put into your creations, and I appreciate the way that you think differently, and I admire the way that you are able to put your blinders on and sort of have this intense ability to discern what's important and let go of things that aren't serving you. And I just want to say that you guys do deserve to feel, really in general, you do deserve to, you know, be with someone who loves you and appreciates you for who you are. You do deserve like good relationships with your family and friends. And a lot of times INTJs might find that expressing what bothers you about another person, or expressing like your boundaries with another person, they might find it a waste of time and energy, because it does take a lot of energy for an INTJ to explain their emotional boundaries. And I understand that that takes a lot of energy, but that doesn't mean that you guys deserve to just put up with people and put up with situations, because you do deserve better. A lot of you do. Like, and I hope that you feel loved. Thank you for sitting around and letting me gush about you. If you're interested, I do offer typing services if you're not sure what your type is, and I have a membership group in which there is a free virtual workshop every month, and it's all about personality typology and self-growth, and extra premium videos in that group in which I go even deeper into using this tool for self-growth. So thank you so much for sticking with me, watching this video, and have a wonderful rest of your day.